I come from the streets, born and raised in the East Bay. My shop became a place where it was a transport place, man. I was moving weight and doing a lot of things that weren't good. Next thing you know, at the age of 22, I was driving a Lamborghini. I had a bike that was 14 karat gold, had a bunch of cars in the shop. Next thing I was caught up in this whole thing. I was blessed to have Mr. Davis and the Raiders organization take me under their wing, take me off the streets, and said, "Hey, man, what you're doing is not going to go. It's not going to be a good turnout for you."
Wow. What would be some words of encouragement to give the person, especially knowing that you've been through some shit, man?
Every second, every minute, every day of my life is faith.
It's Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube.
All right, we are back. It is Mauricio Mejia live inside of Studio B in downtown San Jose, the heart of Silicon Valley. And man, I'm really excited about this next guest that I'm bringing up on the show. If you see right next to me right there, those are two real Lombardi trophies, one for the Raiders and one for my team, the Niners, baby. I got to welcome good friend now and family man, David. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Thank you for having me, man. I can't thank you enough, bro, for putting me on and just taking your time to do that. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have you, and thank you for the surprise. This is amazing to get to witness and see two real Vince Lombardi trophies inside the studio. So what an honor to have that. One of the Raiders, I'll give it to them, good for them. And of obviously my team, the 49ers. I've only seen this in stadiums. I've never gotten to see one in person like this. And right next to me, like what's up? This is amazing. So thank you so much, man, for doing that. Got to give a shout out to the NFL Alumni, NorCal. And again, and thank you for making the time. Let's dive into this this interview, man.
Do it.
Not even an interview, man. This is more of a conversation, man.
Yeah, that's
it. When we first started talking about this opportunity of doing this show, there was just so much energy, so much excitement that happened that it was just kind of surreal for me, man. And then some of the stories that you got to share and. But before we go into all of that, for the audiences out there, I want to kind of get the background on you. Born and raised, and then kind of what got you to the journey and to where you're at today, man. So.
Man, it's been a long journey. It's been a tough journey. But what comes out of toughness makes you stronger.
That's right.
As you know.
Yes.
I come from the streets, born and raised in the East Bay.
Okay. What part of the East Bay? Because the East Bay can be
Haystack.
Okay. Hayward.
Hayward. Haystack.
All right. Hayward in the house.
So I grew up in a time where nothing compared to today, but
yeah.
Of course, I was out there running the streets, man.
Okay.
And hustling and bustling and doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing. And that
what years? What era is this? Right here?
85, 86, okay. 87, 89.
Yeah. The world was very different back then. The 80s was the 80s was jamming.
Yeah. And back then we had our angel flights and we're doing our things, But the journey took me down to some dark roads and some roads that weren't good. I was blessed to have Mr. Davis and the Raiders organization take me under their wing and take me off the streets and said, "Hey, man, what you're doing is not. You're not going to go. It's not going to be a good turnout for you."
Wow.
And they took me under their wing, and I started detailing cars for them. I was a detailer at a high school. I owned a detail shop.
Okay.
In Hayward on Mission Boulevard. And
so before we go there, let's take a little family. Obviously, any siblings?
Yeah, I got a brother,
okay.
Older brother, a sister. I had two sisters. One of my sisters passed away about 4 years ago from COVID. So I have one sister left and an older brother.
Okay.
Both of my parents are deceased. I lost my mom in 2022. Lost my dad in 92. So,
okay.
My family's limited, but what I have, I treasure, and my friends, they're my family, man.
Yeah. Growing up in Hayward, obviously, seems like, the choices were probably limited, so that's kind of what maybe took you down different paths. school. Was education a big part of you growing up, or?
I share that in my book.
Okay.
And it's a pretty, I think, impacted story.
Got it.
I always say in life, and dealing with kids that I've dealt with in my last 30 years of working for the NFL, is that we have a root inside of us. Everybody has a root inside them. And no matter what that is, if that's somebody that's molested you or you were abused or whatever it was, you turn to something else.
Yeah.
And for me, going up in school, I had dyslexia. So I struggled. I was back and forth in special ed classes and, continuation schools. And, I knew I could never get to that plateau to go to college or, make this big money. So, but I was very good with cars and, detailing cars and, doing stuff. My dad was, worked on vehicles. And so, I took that road and became a detailer.
Got it.
And when I became a detailer, that took me down a road that I thought was bright, but it wasn't so bright. I started dealing with my shop was right on Mission Boulevard. I was dealing with guys like Mr. Corvette at a young age.
Okay.
And my shop became a place where it was a transport place, man. And I was moving weight and doing a lot of things that weren't good. And that road sort of.
And just so that people understand, because this era doesn't understand what we're talking about back in the days. Moving weight means moving some drugs. People don't understand. And during those times, there was a lot of things that were happening. And sometimes not by choice, just by necessity, just to live, man.
Yep.
Times are tough today. Times were tough back then. There's always going to be tough times. It's just what do we do with our time?
And I think, for me, that route that I talked about, I was always trying to Band-Aid that and make big money. I wanted those fast cars, wanted those, those fancy cars I see my buddies driving, and guys that I started hanging out with that were much older than me.
Yeah.
I'm like, how'd they get that money, And then I got lured into that whole game. And next thing you know, at the age of 22, I was driving a Lamborghini. I had a bike that was 14 karat gold, had a bunch of cars in the shop. Next thing I was caught up in this whole thing. What happened was the Raiders are coming back here in 1995.
Okay. Yeah, they were down. So I grew up in L.A. I've shared that with you, and I remember the Los Angeles Raiders. That's what I grew up with. I had the Los Angeles Rams and I had the Los Angeles Raiders. But I heard stories that they were originally from Oakland, but yeah, never. I don't know. I couldn't connect those dots. But then I remember when the Raiders left L.A. Man, it was like there was a lot of sad people.
Yeah.
It was a lot of sad people. So
Midnight, they took that truck and hit it on 580 heading towards L.A.
Yeah, back in what year was that when they left Oakland originally?
That was like in the 80s.
Okay.
After they won their second Super Bowl.
Got it.
They were on their way. That was Lyle Alzado days and Matuzak days and stuff. Those kind of days. But yeah, they came back in 95, and I decided I was going to do this bikini car wash.
Yeah.
At my shop over in Hayward off of
95 is when they came back. Huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
95.
Okay. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Okay.
Off of Depot Road in Connecticut.
That's
and,
right.
I had a bikini car wash, had a barbecue. I was already doing John Villa's cars. That John played for the Raiders and had a place called Raider Locker Room in Castro Valley.
Okay.
So I was already doing his vehicles. So I said, hey, John, will you come out and sign some autographs? I'll swap you some details. He said, yeah, I'll come out. So then he brought me a couple other players, Charlie Smith and Marv Hubbard. And so I did this big thing, man. If you're a Raider fan, you get a free car wash, come and hang out, a good girl in bikinis with suds. We were doing it. Music, it was popping,
Those are some different eras, man.
It was popping, And Charlie Smith, his son played for the Raiders, and they said, Dave, man, what are you doing, man? You're 22 years old, 23, 24, all this stuff you got, man. I know you ain't making this kind of money in this detail shop. And they sort of knew, and so they said, man, we can get you a gig at the Raiders, man, making some good money, detailing cars. And at the time, I did have some good accounts at like the car auction and some major, dealerships.
Yeah.
And I had, about 10, 15 employees, running cars all night, and so I said, man, I don't know if I can do this, man. They're like, no, you got to come over. So
What got you into the car detailing?
Man, I just always liked cars. My dad, growing up, my dad always liked pinstriping cars and working on cars. So his cars are always clean. So I just grew up in that, you know what I mean? So when I was 16, he bought my first car before I was even able to drive it. It sat in the driveway for like a year. And I just look out the window of it, and he had it all done up for me, rims painted. And I was like, just thinking, he's like, yeah, you're going to drive that one day,
I think it was for him first.
Yeah, but you're going to get a job first, you know what I mean? You're going to go to work first. And so, that's what got me into it. And then, when Charlie told me to come to the Raiders, he was like, all right. So I went down there, and funny story, man. I go down to the Raiders, and this time they were in Napa, the training camp. So they're like, Charlie Smith's son, Kevin Smith, introduced me to Andrew Glover and Darryl Hobbs. And they were both, Andrew was a tight end, Darryl was a receiver. And they go, man, you need to come out and wash these cars at the Napa. Well, of course, everybody wants something for something. So they were going to get their 2 cars for free if they hooked me up with all the whole team.
Right.
So I was cool with that. I was all right with that. So
Back in the day, people just bartered, man.
Yeah,
You help me, I'll help you, and everyone wins.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I mean.
Yeah.
And so I go back and go to Napa, and they tell me, we'll get you, they just find a hose spigot. So I find this hose spigot coming out of the wall, and that's where I set up shop. Little did I know that spigot came out of that wall, and the Raiders had held the whole lower floor of the Hilton, or I think it was a Marriott, and that's where their coach's office were. So I hooked this hose up, and how asphalt is, man. It gets all pitted from cars. So I'd wash the cars, and this guy, Bill Karras, he was the GM at the time. And he had these expensive suits, man. He'd come out, and he'd step in these puddles, and he'd be screaming, "You can't wash cars. You got to get your car out. You can't be doing this here." I'd take the car, running around the corner, eat the tree, and wipe it down. And I go back and tell Andrew and Darryl, this dude, man, he's going to call the cops on me, man. They're like, man, don't worry about that dude, man. Don't worry about that dude. Man, forget him. Just go back and do it. So I go back. Next day, he'd come out, step in the puddle again. He'd be all pissed off, man. This went on, for like 4 weeks I was there. Because they were there back then. They were 4 weeks in training camp, not like now, And so we got done out of there. And then they're like, you need to come to the Raiders down and do it at the facility. Well, I couldn't just go wash cars on Al Davis's property.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to happen. And so they went up and started hounding Al. Al, you need to have this guy come up and wash cars. And they had a guy in El Segundo doing it. And so they kept hounding him. And they would call me and say, man, we're talking to him. So one day I get a phone call. They're like, hey, Willie Brown calls me and says, hey, Mr. Davis wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, shit, man. So I go up to the office, meet at the facility, and I go up to his office. And Al was a trippy character, man.
Yeah.
Good person, heart of gold, do anything for you. But he just believed in his ways, you know what I mean? That's just the way it was.
I was gangster, bro.
Oh, straight up. So I
he even had that gangster look, man.
Yeah,
I love those glasses of his, man.
and his patent leather shoes, So I go up to his office, and I walk in his office, and he's sitting in his chair, his chair, big black chair, and he didn't like to be called Mr. Davis. He'd like to be called Al or AD. He just didn't like that. If you called him Mr. Davis, he felt like you were kissing his what. He's like, no, I don't like that. So I go in there, and he looks straight at me, and the first word he says to me is, I guess you're the bleep guy that wants to wash cars here, and the players requested you. I'm like, yeah, AD. I knew right away to call him AD. I said,
we're like homies already.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm like, yeah, AD. I got you. And he looks at me and begins to proceed to tell me that I better have the effing hose off the field by this time every day at 5. Else, don't worry about it. I won't be coming back here anytime soon. And he said some other words to me, and
very kind words.
Yeah, make sure that was off the field. So I had to take that off the field. At 5 every day, and as I was done with our conversation, I get ready to walk out the office, and I'm getting ready to go out the door.
Yeah.
And he stops. I'm getting ready to walk, and he says, "I ain't done with you yet." And I'm like, okay. So I turn around, and he reaches behind his desk, and he's gonna hand me this key. I think it's a key to the door. I got a key for you. Reach behind his desk. It's one of those sprinkler things to turn on. So he hands me this thing, and I take it. I tell him thank you. Our interaction, we never, because he'd come in the back gate. I'd never see him. I always was told to stay away from him.
Yeah.
Just leave him alone. So one day I had to see him again, face to face, and it was like 5:15, 5:30. I was all done. Had keys in my hand. I was going to the locker room to take Albert Lewis's keys, and they had called me earlier to say get the hose off the field because he's walking early. So I went down and got the hose out the field, and I'm coming, and back then the Raiders didn't have their facility set up yet, so they had what you call modulars in the back for the locker room.
Oh, okay.
So Al's coming down, he's walking down these stairs, and we gonna see each other just like this. And I said, I'm young, palm sweating, I'm like nervous wreck, man. I'm like, what am I gonna say to this guy? He just intimidated as soon as he looked at you.
Yeah.
And I said,
some people have that energy, man.
Yeah.
They just give you that look, or they just carry that energy with them, and you're just like,
yeah. Sort of remind me of my dad. Like my dad didn't have to spank me, man. He just looked. I just knew that voice and that look. I'm like, all right. I said, I know I pushed my boundaries. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's at that point, you got these kids dialed in.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I know, man. I'm like, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
And so I look at him and I go, AD, you're in great shape. And I said, for your age. And he looked at me and he got right in my face and put his finger in my face. And he's like, don't you ever talk about my age again. And I'm like, oh man. I'm like, so I just walk in the locker room and hand Albert his keys. I'm like, Albert, man, I don't think I'll be here tomorrow, bro. He's like, man, that dude forgot about that. So the funny part of the story, Albert looks at me and goes, but he'll never forget your face. So I'm like, okay. So he doesn't say anymore after that. So the Raider games on a Sunday, I had sideline passes every game, and I was in a suit, and I'd be out in the sidelines.
And were you already involved at that time with the Raiders in their organization?
They had just hired me.
Okay. Because right now, I mean, you're running a business, you're doing your thing for the players and for the team, and then what does the organization hire, or was I was
just a detailer, man. I was just a car detailer.
That's it.
That's how it started.
And on the weekends, they threw you in the suit and said, "All right,
and the weekends,
keep your eyes on the team."
Yeah, they just give me credit. I was a Raider fans. They were like, "Hey, you want to go to the game?" So they hooked me up with sideline passes and whatever,
There you go.
And so I was on the sidelines, and I'm down there watching practice, and this guy Al's like across the way from me, and he sees me, and he just stares me down, man, just like letting you know I know you're there. And so I'm trying to hide behind all the photographers. I'm like, trying to just get away from him, and I get away from him for a while. All of a sudden, he finds me again. He stares at me again. This goes on all season.
Yeah.
Just to let me know that his presence was there.
Yeah.
And he didn't forget my face. And then, from there, they pulled me in the office to work on their programs. I started selling their game day programs or adding their programs. And then I ran a thing called One-on-One Against Hunger. I was a president of that for Willie Brown and Al. We fed kids in schools.
And Willie Brown, we're talking about the
Hall of Famer.
Okay,
Willie Brown.
Okay, because there's also the mayor, Willie Brown.
Yeah,
right?
nobody gets that confused. Everybody gets that confused.
So there's Willie Brown, the mayor, and then there's Willie Brown, the player from the Raiders.
He was a development, in development with the Raiders, retired, but he worked full time.
Okay.
And so I started doing that, man, and then I just slowly phased the detailing away, and my shop was sold to somebody else, and it was still going for a long time. And then a couple of years ago, now it's something else on Mission Boulevard. But it was a good run, man. It was an exciting run, a great journey, man. A lot of fun. And then I left there in 2000, and I was offered a gig through Al Davis at the NFL Alumni in Northern California.
Nice.
And I started there as just a sales guy. I was just a guy that was just pounding phones, man. Just give me the phone. Here's your yellow page. They threw me a yellow page phone book and said, "Go get some money, kid."
And what that role was, I mean, it's really getting money for it's advertising dollars or dollars. What kind of dollars are you dialing for?
Just straight donations. Just
Okay.
donations for like their golf tournaments and just straight donations, man. Give us some money. You know, you want to play golf in our tournament at the Olympic Club, give us some money.
Got it.
And I just was dialing, just dialing them numbers.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys that were there, they didn't want to renew his contract. Yeah. And one of the players sat at the table, and I had been there for a while already. But the NFL is very critiqued of how they bring you up and what they do. You know, they want to make sure they're very diligent on what they do. And so they kept pushing for me to move up. And one of the guys that was there, they didn't want to renew his contract. And so they said, "Hey, you know what?" One of the guys at the table at the boardroom said, "Dave's been here like 7 years already, man. Won't you go ahead and let him run the tournament, and I'll keep an eye on him, and let him go ahead with it. Let him take it and run it." And I did. In my first year, I raised $150,000 out of the gate. That was the first project.
Nice.
And they were like, "Whoa." And then I took all the other ones over slowly, and then pretty soon, they may bump me up to director of marketing, and then from there I went to executive director of marketing, and then also took a position at National this last about 3 weeks ago as sales executive in New Jersey for corporate.
Got it.
So
NFL don't mess around, man.
No.
When it comes to making money.
No.
I mean, that organization is just no joke. All the teams now, I mean, they're all $1 billion worth, valuations for teams. I mean, right now, what is the most valued team in the NFL?
Dallas, I believe.
Dallas, yeah. It's in the billions, too.
And the crazy part about it is that the league, they've turned it, like you said, a business, and it's become corporate. It's become corporate America.
Yeah.
So the corporate America money, man, that's what they're looking for.
Right.
Yeah,
they're not going for mom and pop, man.
No.
They want the big dollars. You got to think about it, though. The times of back then and where they're at today, the cost of a player now is a lot. I mean, you're signing some big dollars for these players. They're making more money than, no one could imagine back then.
I mean, back in the day, them guys had to work 2 jobs. You know what I mean? They work 2 days. They had to play football and work.
It's interesting when we talk about things like that, because that's right. I mean, these guys. I mean, unless you were one of their star players, a Plunkett, right? I mean, or who was the quarterback back then? There was
Stabler,
Yeah, I mean, those guys. I mean, those guys were getting paid. The receivers, and I mean, again, it blows my mind the amount of growth that the NFL has had, and how they've turned it into its sports and entertainment now.
Yeah, most of them guys back then, man, they had liquor stores. They owned liquor stores or laundromats. The guys that made big money. Yeah. But most of them guys were car salesmen. Off season. They didn't have no ducats. You know what I mean? They'd have no paper.
The world was different back
then.
Yeah,
and so I think now, like you were saying, because of the salaries they're paying these guys, it's hard to, and I always say this, to abstain. That's why you don't see teams having these long runs, winning 5-6 Super Bowls, because it's hard to abstain them, man.
Yeah.
You get a couple good guys that won a Super Bowl championship that weren't that good, but they're coming up, and they made some major plays. Now they want to get paid.
Yeah.
Their contracts, their contract's done. They want to go to another team. They're like, nah, you didn't do great all season, but you made these huge plays at the Super Bowl. Yeah. And now you want to get paid.
Yeah.
So, saying that, I mean, I think it's made the game change a lot, and then corporations, the suite sales and being in the stadium and being on the marquees and being on the signage and, the endorsements, the teams get, you see all these commercials, Farmers Insurance and all the endorsements, they get a piece of that. The player gets a piece of that. You know what I mean? So it's a deep conversation, of the revenue that's generated
Right.
through these teams. And you look at all the the halftime shows and stuff.
Yeah.
The NFL don't pay them.
No,
It's
I've been learning that.
Yeah,
the more-
Pepsi or that big brand pays
Yeah.
them. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that have changed from them guys that played in the '60s and '70s.
Oh yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
even the health of the players now,
Oh.
it's they're more aware of the way that the sport, how violent the sport is,
Yeah.
and how these players were getting beat up pretty
Yeah.
bad. I mean, the PTSD and all the other head traumas and all that other stuff, man. But it's just interesting again how the NFL has grown to be the juggernaut that it is in sports and entertainment.
yeah, I mean, they're the number one selling brand.
Yeah.
And you just look at how they revolved and how they've escalated in all these years, and now they're playing in Europe already. They're over playing in Europe, and you look at the poor guys that were there before them. Man, I see it more than a lot of people do because I'm around all those guys.
Yeah.
So I see the struggles, man. I've seen guys that when I first started, in this thing, that. Now I look at them and they don't even remember who they are. They're struggling to, they'll call me and talk to me, and they'll call me 6 times a day and say, "Hey, bro," and I just already talked to him like 10 minutes ago. No, it's the same questions, But I just learned to just say, yeah. I didn't know they talked to me, because
Right.
last thing you want to do is, take somebody down. They're already, it just not something good to do, man. So I just try to lift them up, make them be happy and just do some great things with them, man.
Did your relation with Al ever develop into something a little bit more special?
Yeah,
Okay.
towards the end, before he passed,
What year did he pass?
He's been gone. Al's been gone probably. I don't want to quote myself, but it's been 5 years, maybe 7 years already. It's been a while.
So he never got to see the new stadium.
No.
No.
He never got to see it. If it was to Al, I wouldn't have left Oakland.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have, because of his power,
Yeah.
and who he had behind him. I think he would have. He would have. There would have been some domino chips falling. He would have got a stadium deal done.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know
he
what I
would have.
mean?
He would have cut the deal.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have cut the deal, man.
Yeah, he would have. He would have brought his buddies, and they would have got something done. But
Yeah.
I just think that that didn't happen, and I know in my heart Mark didn't want to move.
Yeah.
Because his mom still lives in Piedmont.
Oh wow.
His mom's still alive, so I mean, that's to travel back and forth and have to come here and check on mom. I'm sure he's got people around that take care of her, but still, that's a hard thing,
Yeah.
But towards the end, Al was great with me, man. He gave me a lot of nice stuff when I left. He gave me some hardware when I left that I treasure. And I was able to keep my relationship with the Raiders.
Nice.
I just lost one of my dearest friends from the Raiders. She was, her name was Cheryl Nichols. Shout out to Cheryl and her family tonight. The Nichols family, on the show that she passed a couple weeks ago. She was Al Davis' original secretary.
Oh wow.
And
She knew where all the bodies were buried.
yeah. And
Yeah.
she was an amazing lady, man. She was just my dear friend, like a big sister.
Nice.
But I always kept in close with her, and they've always been good to me. You know what I mean? And that's all you can ask out of somebody, man. Just treat me like I want to be treated. At the end of the day.
To get into the NFL alumni, obviously it's your association during the regular NFL, like working with an NFL team, right? Is that kind of how you kind of migrate into the alumni, or is it just is it a separate organization from the NFL?
Yeah, it's not separate. So the NFL owns this shield, the NFL Alumni Shield, and basically we're an arm of them of a nonprofit.
Got it.
So our two biggest missions are caring for kids, and the other one's caring for our own. Yes. So caring for our own is caring for former football players that are struggling through CT and just having some difficult times.
Yeah.
We do different stuff for them. We do brain mapping for them. We do heart studies for them, and we have a heart doctor come out that is a heart doctor that basically does studies on the heart, and they'll pay the ball players, they'll pay their family to come out, they give them a complete checkup. And then our other slogan is caring for kids. We do football camps, mentoring camps, drug awareness, and then scholarships. And we also go out and talk to kids at hospitals that are dying, that are sick. Yeah. So that's our focus, but it's we're all year long, we're busy. It doesn't stop during football season more than ever. But during the off season, we're busy working with players and trying to help them, guys that are just coming out of the league, trying to get them adjusted. What can they get? Letting them know about the NFL Alumni, what we do for them. Yeah. So it's a full-time on hours gig,
It's pretty cool, man. You got to you brought the 2 trophies. Obviously, the NFL, even though you were with the Raider organization, it allowed you to have both from Northern California. Obviously, NFL Alumni Northern California chapter. But how awesome, man! How to see and to think of these great moments in time that both teams have had in the past. It's and getting to that point. It's not easy, man. The sport's not an easy sport to navigate and to win and to get into that ultimate game of the world is watching.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the most watched games in the entire world.
I think, like we were talking, the turnover rate. The turnover rate is so crazy.
Yeah.
Players don't stay long. Like, the Jerry Rice days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jerry's with the team for, 17, 18. You don't see that longevity no more, man. It's just like, I think you want to say the last longevity you've seen has been like Aaron Rodgers. How long was he with Green Bay before he left?
Right.
But you don't see that longevity.
Yeah, or Tom Brady. Tom Brady was with the Patriots for so many years, and then he moved on, and he obviously was very successful at Tampa and others. But it just, again, I can feel the energy off of these trophies, man. To just have them here and just to feel and share that moment, when these guys are celebrating, man. What does that feel like too when you're when you're in those rooms with those players and you're enjoying, this feeling that they have?
It's a whole nother level, man. I could say that, it's funny that you say that. It's like,
do the players get trophies too? Do
they can purchase.
But the team gets one.
The team
right?
gets one.
So
yeah.
And then, man, the NFL don't play around. You can purchase one.
Yeah, you can get one. Well, Al Davis actually gave one. He was the first team to ever give. He took the Super Bowl trophy and gave him a miniature one.
Yeah.
And it has black onyx on the bottom. Every player he gave one to.
Oh, very cool.
And he was the first one to do that. So, it was like, man,
they don't play around.
Yeah, they don't play, man. They don't play,
They got to collect that money to pay pay those salaries for these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I know that. So you obviously you spend a lot of time. You're still part of the organization. You've mentioned earlier about a book. You've just published Ignite Impact, which has gone top seller, right?
Yeah.
It's a collaboration of a bunch of different authors, and obviously everyone is sharing their story. What do you share in the book? That's what story or what is it that you're? It would go with the Ignite Impact. What are you? What's the goal here?
I shared my story in there to impact and about my life and how I started, where I began, and how I ended up. And I did it because one of the big reasons I was approached by somebody that knew the Raiders. I didn't know if I wanted to do it because you don't know how much you want to put out there. But when they sat and talked to me, and the publishing company came in and said, "This is what we can do, and this is how we can make sure everybody's, is taken care of on it, and we'll make sure everything you want is what you said."
Yeah.
I brought my attorney in, and then we're like, "Yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and do it." But I think my end goal was to just let people know that no matter what you do in life, that you can always succeed.
Yes.
No matter how it goes down, don't ever give up. I talk about it in the book.
Yes.
I talk about, inspirational. I talk about, don't ever, if you don't give it your 100%, you'll never know. If you give it 99.1 or 92.1, you'll never know.
Yeah.
And I taught when I go speak to kids all over the place for the NFL with different ball players. That's my number one speaking point is that, there's nothing wrong with failure.
No.
But if you don't try,
right.
You're never going to know.
You're never going to know.
And if you don't give it your 100. And I also talk about the root of in there of basically, having a root inside you that you try to Band-Aid up, and I talk about the addiction part, your association, who you hang out. I lay it all out, and hopefully that it'll either save somebody or help some kid along the way.
Yeah.
That'll take him off the streets, man.
Let me ask you. You just made a point about association, and I'm a big believer in that. Right? You are who you surround yourself with, and how do you feel that you surrounding yourself with the team that you were with? How do you feel that may have made an impact in your life?
I think just players caring, guys that took me on their wing that just basically wanted the better for me, seeing that I was a good person, and seeing that I wanted the goodness. And they just took me on their wing and wanted to help. And I think we need more of those mentors out there on the street, man.
Yeah.
Because we're in a time right now in this world that it's not a fun place out there, man.
It's kind of fucked up right now.
Yeah.
The world is on its head. We've been here before, and I think that it is an era that as an adult now, as a seasoned person or a person that has experienced life, when I look at where we're at today, I'm just. It's not a pretty place. And,
nah,
and
bro.
This is when you hear these stories about, the world is an ugly place. And I try to make light of everything.
Yeah.
Because that's who I am as a human being, right? And we want to do things in positive, right? But man, you just keep getting sucked into this dark hole. No pun intended, right? But you get sucked into this dark side, and you try to stay positive, and you find these outlets, and obviously sports and entertainment can become some of those outlets too for these kids as they're growing up. But the who you are is who you surround yourself is who you become.
It's funny you say that because I think you've talked about off screen or whatever. But I had a player tell me one thing. He's like, "Hey kid, let me tell you something. If you want to hang out with fleas, you're gonna get bit." I'm like, yeah,
love it.
You know what I mean? I'm like, that's real, know. And the other thing he used to tell me was, you are what you eat, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you put all those things in perspective, and that's going to take you down a dark road, man.
Yeah.
If you get caught up in that whole world swim, like you're saying, it could be Eddie Money was one of my best friends, and I actually buried him when he passed, but we produced some stuff together. We produced a song called "One More Soldier Coming Home." He wrote a play that I was involved in, and actually I'm part of it. It's in New York right now. It's been about 7 years. We've had it out since he's passed away in the colleges. But he always used to say, "Man, this rock and roll ride is fast, furious." And fast, furious, and you don't know what you're getting into, but it's in one of his songs. But and that's life, man.
Yeah.
It's fast and furious, man, and you get yourself caught up in some bad shit, man, if you just ain't paying attention,
That's right.
And so, I live by the sword, man, that, at the end of the day, man, just do the right thing, man.
Right.
Just do the right thing, man. There's no need to have greed. There's no need to be greedy. There's no need. Just do the right thing, man.
Yeah.
We all got to eat. We all got to take care of ourselves. And at the end of the day, man, when you do more, my parents always taught me, closed hand don't get fed.
Yeah.
If you give, don't worry. There's somebody watching. That man's going to give you abundance, man.
Yeah.
And
those are facts.
And I've been blessed.
Yeah.
I've been blessed in that way, man. I've been blessed in that whole journey to have the experience I have. I've been, from my whole career, I've been to the Playboy Mansion 5 times. As a man,
I've been there twice.
Yeah, as a man, you know what I mean. Was with Bill Clinton,
Nice.
President of the United States.
All right.
I was able to be here on his second inauguration when he became second president, the second term at Jack London Squares. Mr. Davis had me go out and bring a bunch of players there. I was able to go there with him. I went to Santa Barbara with him. Santa Barbara, I rode in the airplane with him. I was able to do some things. I got some photos one-on-one of me and him talking.
Nice.
So I've done some things that that I would have never had the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for where I was at in life.
Yeah.
But that would have never happened if I would have kept hanging out over here.
Right.
So I just say at the end of the day, man, just be real, man. Be real. Give it your 100, like you, man. This is good stuff, man.
Thank you.
Can't thank enough for even having me here, man.
Hey,
this is good stuff.
I appreciate that, David. I really do. One of the things that we really strive for here is we just want to keep it real with people.
Yeah.
Authentic conversations. We want to enjoy listening to other people's stories, right? We all got a story. I mean, and people think because they only see the highlights out there, they think that people don't go through shit.
Yeah.
And that, that we don't have failure. You actually learn from failure. So the more you fail, the more you learn. So I always I welcome it. Not that I'm out there purposely looking to hey, after I banged my head in the wall once, I know don't bang your head against the wall, right? To avoid it. But you learn from those experiences and you move on. And I've published 3 books. My first book, Smoke and Mirrors, talks about my life, and I share my coming up in life, as a child, and then becoming a successful businessman, at least in my opinion. And I've enjoyed my journey. My second and third book are books on mindset. When people ask, hey, how did you get to where you're at? I'm like, well, let me share with you my thought process.
Sure, it's huge.
Yeah, because it's what's gotten me to where I'm at. And I'm a big reader. I love to read. I'm definitely going to read the book. I'm going to see what other authors that are in here, have some great. I'm sure that there's plenty of great stories.
There is.
Yeah, there's got to be some
people in there.
Some good stuff in there. And again, so before you got here today, we had a TC, your partner TC, in the water. By the way, you noticed the D2O.
Yep, you gotta have the water out there.
It's the official water now of Mauricio Mejia Live and the studio, and we talked about what it takes to play at the highest level, and then coach at the highest level, and then do business at the highest level. He did it, and his journey's not done there yet. No. We're all still growing, right? Just like you and the things that you're doing and the outreach. So it's just interesting to see that, we all have our story and our journey to where we want to get to, and we just always, what I've gotten is that we all just are consistent and we always want just more, and we just keep going, and we don't stop, we don't give up.
No,
You
got to fall and dust yourself off and get back up, man. That's what you have to do.
I know that life has thrown you some curveballs, and I know you've overcome a lot too. And even,
right.
Not only personally, but probably in your health-wise as well, and you've gotten to here where you're at, and you're still making an impact.
Yeah, my whole thing, and I share this. I told myself when I was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2018 for the Don't Give Up Award, I told myself I'd carry that plateau. And I would never, ever, that ring and that bus I have at home, we'll have to come and do another show, and I'll bring my bus. So you guys can see what a Hall of Fame bus looks like. But to have that, I told myself that I would take that torch and pass it to somebody, throughout the year. And I probably give away 4 or 5 of different certificates a year away to different people that are struggling. I'm doing something for Fleet Week, a book signing Fleet Week at San Francisco on the 11th.
Nice.
We're going to be doing something there. I'm giving some guy an award away. But I told myself I would give somebody that's going through something, if it's cancer, if it's some kind of sickness, or just, don't give up in whatever you're doing. But my main focus with that is cancer. And I do talk to a lot of people. I've done some really stuff that really will open your eyes. Last year, I went to this place called the Markson's House. I don't know if you know where that's at. It's on 150th in San Leandro, and it's up on the hill.
Okay.
And it's where it's like Ronald McDonald House, but it's not as big as Ronald McDonald House and not as funded like Ronald McDonald House.
Okay.
So it's funded by private money, and it's a small house that was turned into, a hospice for kids. And
kids that are going through something.
Kids that are going to pass away.
Oh, wow.
It's on this is their last stop. So I was called last year to go up there. It was probably one of the most toughest things I've done in my 30-year journey. Usually the kids I go see up there are kids that are going to pass away. Every kid's going to pass away, but they're little guys, and they don't really understand. they're laughing and they're having a good time and they got tubes in their nose, but they don't really understand it. They're little kids, 5, 6 years old. And so I went last year and they asked me to come up, and I went and spoke to a kid that his mother was there. He was 16 years old, and he played for a high school, and he had terminal cancer and he was going to die, and he knew it. And we went, my president, John Pay, which played for the Niners, our president, we went up there and we sat with him. We gave him the Don't Give Up Award. We spent the day with him, and his mother was there. And mind you, this kid's going to pass. And he's telling his mother's crying, and he's telling his mom it's going to be okay. And then he's looking at me and John, and he's asking me and John if we could paint the Niners emblem on his casket. And I look at John, and John looks at me, and we're like, we're ready to ball right there. We're trying to hold our strength.
Yeah.
And we look at him, and we're like, no, you can't. We just gave you the Don't Give Up Award. You can't give up, man. You can't give up. We're here to fight this fight with you. And he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna, and then his mom starts crying. But it was heavy, man. It was probably one of the heaviest things I've ever done in my third, because this kid knew, And when it was all said and done, we had him a jersey made with his number on it. And me and John got in the car and left, and we got down the hill, and we hit that stop sign. We both looked at each other, and we were just bawling.
Yeah, man.
We were just like, whoa, man, that's an impact.
Makes you realize life.
Yeah, how precious it is, you know what I mean? And we're over here crying about a stubbed toe. I look at John, I'm like, man, this kid's ready to, he's done, And so those are things that are just like, I think that you just can't put a price tag on, man. Because if I gave that kid 10 minutes that day of brightness, and that's all he had left, hey, man, we did our job.
That's right.
At the end of the day.
It's interesting, man, how the world highlights certain things or puts, shares certain things, and then they don't share other things. I mean, right now, there's young children that are out there in need of basics and have needs, and just interesting how the world plays out, man. It's just it takes me down into a whole different just like thought process of just crazy times.
Same with me. I'm the same way. I just lay there by myself, or just sit on my porch and smoke a cigar once in a while and just think, man. It's like, man. Or I've had them heavy days where I come home, all day being, during Christmas time, it's pretty. Yeah. Christmas time, I think, is probably one of the toughest times for me, because we see the most.
Yeah.
We get out for Christmas.
The holidays, yeah.
For Christmas, I do about probably 10 to 12 tour drives a month in December.
Definitely want to, when you hit by you hitting that note there, what can we do to participate and get more involved with the NFL Alumni?
Oh man, I think our little secret we're talking about. Yeah, that's going to be unique. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun.
We got a lot of things in the works, by the way. I know we can't probably announce it yet, but we'll be seeing more of these trophies, and we'll be working closely with you and the local organization, because that would be really fun. I think talking about producing something separate completely. I mean, I think that in itself, and then obviously we're leading into the big game next year, and then not just that, but we continue to we can use that as a springboard for the rest of the year, and then really start making an impact, right? Making an impact with a lot of the players and people that are also alumni, because it's not just people that work, it's the players too.
Yeah, what's funny too, you say that, Mauricio, is that it's funny, a lot of people, you wouldn't believe the people that just love to hear war stories.
Yeah.
Just about what these guys did when they played in the 60s and 70s.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the NFL war stories, bud.
People love that, man. Yeah. They eat that up.
Yeah, no, we can watch the stuff that's currently happening, but people want to go back. It's going retro, right?
Yeah.
We want to talk about some of the things that some of these players from the past, but we don't want to give too much away. So, but it's in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works.
It's in the works. And,
I think just as far as helping us out, just love to have you come out and maybe bring your camera or take some shot, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I think the most fun thing I have a big joy with is this is my 3rd year doing it. We teamed up with the Redwood City Fire Department.
Okay.
And because we were doing these toy drives, we're like, man, toys, we're just like, let's just give them to one big organization. And since we're in bed with the Redwood City and we're in the original 49ers building off of Red Mort in Redwood City, our new facility's going up. We, decided let's work with the Redwood City Fire Department.
Nice.
So we go out and we do about, like I said, 10, 11 toy drives in the Bay Area. We collect a bunch of toys and then we take them over to Redwood City and they have what you call a wrapping party.
Yeah.
And they take about 400 people in this room and they just wrap presents all day until
Yeah.
like 10 at night. They go back in trailers. Then they go to this place called Toyland. And for like 5 days, they have people dress up as elves and Santas.
Yeah.
And then we get in the fire trucks and we dress as Santa Clauses. And we ride with the fire department in the fire truck as Santa Claus. And we go into these low-income houses where, and this is what, you walk in, and this is what makes me tick. When I'm done and I take that Santa Claus outfit out and I get in my car and I just take a deep breath and I drive away, I go, man, life ain't that bad. Because I just walked into a house where there's 5 kids in this house, 2 parents, and it's a 1-bedroom. Where do you think they're sleeping? Yeah. Floor, couches, and there's a tree about this big. And those kids, before I can even get out of that fire truck, are waiting and screaming, with that bag of toys, And so when you see that, man, you're like, you back home, you got this nice Christmas tree. You go to somebody's house with this Christmas party, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're having this elaborate Christmas party, and you're like, I just left this place, man. This little kid got 5 gifts underneath his house, So, you know what I mean? You just, to me, that's what strives me to go, you know what, I want to do more, man.
Yeah.
Like you.
And I do. I think that what I've learned from all the different things that I've done and accomplished in my life, that the more that I have given, the more blessings that have come, and it's really not because of the blessings that it's because of the fulfillment that it fills up my cup, right? It fills me up with that joy to see somebody else benefit or have enjoy or just put that smile on their face, man. And I think that was part of the in our original conversation, just talking about all the different things of what the NFL Alumni does. I think that, and specifically the chapter here in Northern California, I think that the involvement that I want to have be more active in especially this year that's coming up, because this is a great opportunity to do some great things, because we're gonna have so much attention.
Yep.
And it's not just because of the attention, but it's a good way to use that as I'm a marketing guy.
Yeah.
Branding, marketing, and when I see opportunity, I think that there's moments where you can get some momentum, and it just gives you, and sometimes you just need that little extra momentum, and boom, things unfold, and then all of a sudden you run with it, right? Like I said, even with the idea of what we're talking about, that we use that as our momentum, as our springboard, and the next thing you know, I mean, we could be a big generator of toys. We can get players involved. I mean, there's so many things that we can do just by putting our resources together. And for me, at the end of the day, the cost, I just want to help others, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, just with even with what I'm doing with my show here, I want to share other people's stories to help them and to help others as well, because we all got a great story to share.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, right? In you are an entrepreneur. Believe it or not, and part of the show is what we talk about is entrepreneurship. You were an entrepreneur at a young age, whether you were slanging or you were washing cars. The funny part is that my first business started in LA. I was 15 years old. I was washing cars in the neighborhood around near my neighborhood. Why? Because that was the only way I can make money, so I can go buy me a pair of Jordans. That was my first motivation, right? Because kids were fucking brutal when you're growing up. They're like, oh, they're laughing at you because you're wearing Payless shoes. You're wearing fucked up shit, and it's like, all right, so that motivated me. For me, I got exposed being in the entertainment business for the years that I was in. I got exposed to all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh, sure, I can imagine, bro.
But I took it upon myself to go the path that I did and do the things that I've done. So anyhow, man, I want to get more involved with you. I want to do some great things. I want to become a closer partner with the NFL Alumni, and again, your chapter here in Northern California, because I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, you.
That was crazy. Like just the way it connected, and then from that to here, and I mean to again just to have this the ability to do the things that we can do. And why not?
And the thing is, like, our new building that we're going into is phenomenal. I mean, it's basically the Redwood City Veteran Center, the Alumni, and the Senior Center, and it's 51,000 square feet.
Nice.
It was like $60 million to do, and it's got a $21,000 museum in there, so it has all the original Niner Raider stuff in there, different stuff. So you can walk in there as a museum, and there's a theater that sits 275 people.
Nice.
In there, nice. That we can do different benefits with, and
we're gonna,
I think
we're gonna maximize that. Once it's done, I definitely want to be the part of there. When
have you come down, and once we're in there, have a little tour, but have a little dinner after. We have a little senior center restaurant down below, but I think that auditorium there's so much we can do with it as far as different type of stuff. We have people on podiums, business people talking about like a Tony Robbins type of thing,
nice.
Stuff like that. Those are great things. Motivational things that we can do.
What for the person that's out there watching? Obviously, that's a big fan of the Raiders, possibly, or football, NFL, or things like that. What would be some words of encouragement to give the person, especially knowing that you've been through some shit, man? What would you say to the person that's out there that's right now just that doesn't have any hope, that needs those words of encouragement, man? What?
You know what? There's one thing I believe in and I live by, man. And I live by it every second, every minute, every day of my life is faith, man. And I have some shirts that we have out. And I always say this: without faith, there's no hope. And without hope, there's no faith. You have to have faith in your heart somewhere, man.
Yeah.
You have to believe that in goodness, something becomes great.
Yes.
And you have to really believe that. Doing goodness, something becomes great. And you have to have faith, man. And I think that's what we've lost as human beings. We've lost faith, man.
I agree. I think that there's moments in our human journey that we do course correct, and there's moments where you just feel the world is so desensitized, and then you feel that there's moments where we come back together and we're back on track.
Yeah.
And then we get destabilized again, and then, I mean, it's always going to be peaks and valleys.
Sure.
It's never going to be a moment of just constant. But anyhow, man. Well, let me ask, if people want to get involved with the organization, if they want to donate, where can they go?
You go to the NFL Alumni, Northern California. You just pull that up on the website, and it'll have all our stuff on there. It'll have a donation button. It'll have everything.
So alumni, NFLalumni.com,
NorCal.
or you have to put the whole thing?
Yeah, just go NFL Alumni, Northern California.
Do they have any social media handles?
Yes.
You can,
yep. You'll see everything.
Perfect.
Yep.
We'll make sure that our team looks that up, and then we include the website and all that good stuff, because again, we want to get more involved, and we definitely want to get our audience more actively involved in things if it resonates.
Yeah,
right?
no, definitely. I'll send you. What I'll do is I'll have our social media person connect with your social media person.
Yeah.
So send you all the stuff over.
Perfect.
And then the links and whatever you guys need.
And do you bring those trophies around when I know you did this one special for us. Do these things go on tour by any chance?
No, we certain things. Like yesterday, we did a cause called Addiction Society. And it's Franklin Capital. Franklin Capital is the bank.
Yeah.
And so we were there with Chuck Johnson. Chuck Johnson passed away from alcohol and struggled, and he was a founder of Franklin and Capital.
Wow.
And now his sons are running it, and they just lost their other brother. He passed away young, in his 30s. He passed away drowned about 3 months ago from alcohol. Same thing.
Yeah.
Drank and fell off a boat. He struggled, but so we had it there yesterday.
That alcohol does a lot of damage,
man.
in a lot of different ways.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Man.
Tell you all about that. I talk about it in my book.
Oh, well, we're going to save it. So if people want to find the book, where can they get this at?
You
then?
go to Ignite Impact, and you look at just go to Ignite Impact, and everything's there.
Is it available on Amazon
Yep.
too? Okay,
Yep.
Amazon,
Yep.
and
Just
then
go to Ignite Impact, and everything
okay.
is right there.
Perfect, man. Well, we're excited again that you were here and you shared your journey and got to share some stories. And I know we couldn't go too hard deep into some Raider stories or Al Davis stories, but I appreciate what you shared, with us. And
I know there's one thing the Raider way is only cheating's if you get caught.
all right, who do you think?
And I'll share another story with you.
Go for
I
it.
tell this to everybody because you're a Niner fan, ain't that right?
100%.
100%. But what you didn't realize is, what you didn't realize is that you've been a Raider fan since kindergarten.
How so?
And people go, no way. I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, you've been. They're like,
so?
so when you were growing up, when you were a little boy, you probably had that female teacher that was real pretty. You're probably one of those kids that had a little crush on her.
I did.
And you were probably waiting for her to stand up. And she stood up one day and she pointed to the flag in the corner. And she said, she said, all you kids got to put your hand on your heart. And you go, and you all got to pledge allegiance to the flag. And all you guys said, I pledge allegiance to the flag under God, one nation. You know what nation that is? That's the Raider Nation. So you were a fan already and didn't even know it.
They were brainwashing us. Oh, man. Anyhow, man. Well, again, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. And we're going to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
And we're going to build some great things in the near future. And again, whatever we can do here to support, man, we're here to support. And let's make it happen.
No, I'd love to have you come out and dress like Santa Claus with me, riding a fire truck.
All right, you know what? I'm down for the challenge. I know that you mentioned, and I don't know how much we can mention, but there's a documentary coming out.
Yes.
So when does that air?
2020. Well, actually, 2027. There's a documentary coming out about me. Beginning of 2027.
All right.
And then
is that where we really find out the truth?
You'll see a lot of stuff. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have you on that documentary.
Oh, let's go.
You'll be one of the people on there. There'll be a lot of people in my life that will be on there speaking about bits and pieces about me.
Nice.
As some high profile players.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to that. I want to thank and give my shout out to Vernon Glenn from Channel 5.
Yeah.
Channel 5 is not the one that's doing it, but Vernon Glenn is the one that's going to be doing the documentary.
Very cool. Man.
He's going to be talking. He'll be the voice behind it.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to be part. Me and Vernon go back 30-something years.
Yeah.
My whole career we go back. We met in 1995. We've been a true friend.
Very
so
cool.
That'll be coming out. And then I believe this week, I think it's the Niners. I think it's the post game on Channel 5 that him and Lorenzo Neal do.
Okay.
I believe my segment, Vernon shot a segment of me about 4 weeks ago. And I believe he said to me today that that's going to be coming out this Sunday. So there'll be a segment after the game about me on the show. And him and Lorenzo Neal's a dear friend of mine. Lorenzo Neal knows my career and my path.
Nice.
So it'll be interesting, both of them guys talking about where I've been and where I've become.
Wow. I look forward to watching. I look forward to doing some great things with you. I look forward to having some players here.
Oh, yeah,
man.
definitely. We're going to get John Pay.
Yeah, let's get some players in here.
I want to get you John here because I think you and John can talk on behalf of real estate. John's in the real estate business.
Nice.
So I think you guys can hit it off there. And
let's get a yellow jacket in here, too. I'd love to have that on record here.
We'll definitely get somebody in here with the Hall of Fame. We'll get some guy, it's one of the guys that are around here. I'll get over here.
Cool, man.
And, they would love to get on the show and just talk,
Okay.
But we'll make set that up, for sure.
Well, I appreciate it, David. I appreciate your time again. Thank you for everything you've done, continue to do, and, for being here on the show, man.
Yeah, I just tell people out there, man, don't never give up on your dream.
That's right.
Never, don't give up. That's my motto. And stay true to yourself, man.
Amen.
Stay true and give it your 100 because you'll never know at the end of the day if you don't give it 100%, man. That's right. So just keep it real.
Let's go. So, again, thank you again for being here. It's Mauricio Mejia Live, wrapping it up. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Mauricio Mejia Live on YouTube.